She knew that whispering those 3 words could get her and her daughter killed, but letting him eat meant watching an innocent man die. Jasmine Rodriguez stares at table 7. The distinguished man in the expensive suit just ordered his usual ribeye. Her stomach drops as she watches the new kitchen assistant slip something into the seasoning. Clear, odorless, deadly. She'd overheard his hushed phone call. Make it look natural. Heart attack? No traces. This isn't food tampering. This is murder. Warning the customer means certain death for her and 6-year-old Sophia. The people behind this assassination don't leave witnesses. But staying silent means watching poison kill an innocent man right in front of her eyes. Every instinct screams, stay quiet, stay alive. Instead, she walks toward his table. What she didn't know was that the man she was about to die for would soon repay her sacrifice in ways she never imagined. But she didn't know that saving his life was about to change hers forever. Every night, Jasmine counted pills and dollars, knowing both were running out faster than she could replace them. The alarm screams at 5 a.m. in their cramped Oakland apartment. Jasmine Rodriguez rolls out of bed, already exhausted before the day begins. In the next room, 6-year-old Sophia coughs that wet, wheezing sound that sends ice through Jasmine's veins. "Morning, baby," she whispers, checking Sophia's breathing. The inhaler sits on the nightstand. 3 puffs left. Maybe 4 if they're careful. The math haunts her daily. Sophia's asthma medication costs $2,400 every month. Jasmine's take-home pay from Romano's Steakhouse? $1,800 on a good month. She does the impossible math again. Rent, 3 months overdue. Electricity bill, final notice. Groceries, whatever free packets she can sneak from work. The eviction notice on their door feels like a countdown timer. But Jasmine Rodriguez doesn't break. Not in front of Sophia. "What do you want for breakfast, princess?" "Just cereal, Mama." The kind with no milk. Her heart shatters quietly. Again. At Romano's Steakhouse, Jasmine transforms. She straightens her black uniform, forces her shoulders back, and becomes the server Oakland's wealthy elite expect to see. Invisible, efficient, grateful for their presence. "Table 12 wants a different server," Manager Tony announces during the morning briefing. "Something about preference." The other servers avoid eye contact. Everyone knows what preference means when it comes to Jasmine. She's the only black server among the staff. "No problem," she says smoothly. "I'll take sections 4 and 7. Tony nods, relieved he doesn't have to deal with confrontation. Jasmine has perfected the art of swallowing humiliation with a smile. Her hands never shake when serving customers who won't make eye contact. Her voice never wavers when they speak about her like she's not standing right there. She needs this job too desperately to let pride interfere. Between tables, she checks her phone. Sophia's school nurse has called twice. "Mrs. Rodriguez, Sophia had an episode during recess. She's in my office now, but you might want to consider picking her up early." Jasmine's stomach drops. Is she breathing okay? For now. But she's asking for you. Every parent's nightmare, choosing between your child's immediate need and the paycheck that keeps them housed. Jasmine makes the impossible choice. She stays at work. Sophia's teacher will watch her until school ends. The guilt eats her alive. During her break, she sits in Romano's parking lot and calls Sophia. "Hi, Mama. I'm okay now. Miss Johnson gave me crackers. I'm so sorry I couldn't come get you, baby." "It's okay." You're working hard for us. 6 years old, and Sophia already understands sacrifice. That evening, Jasmine helps train Marcus, a new server fresh out of college. His enthusiasm reminds her of herself 5 years ago, before life wore her down. "You're really good at this," he says, watching her handle a difficult table. "How do you stay so calm?" "Practice," she says simply. and necessity. She doesn't mention that staying calm is survival, that losing her temper means losing Sophia's medicine money. Marcus gets tips that Jasmine never sees. Customers slip him 20s for mediocre service while leaving her exact change for exceptional care. She pretends not to notice. After her shift, she helps elderly Mrs. Lane to her car despite being dead on her feet. The old woman's hands shake as she counts out exact change for her meal. "Thank you, dear. You're always so kind." Jasmine's kindness costs her 20 minutes of sleep and gas money she doesn't have. But Mrs. Lane reminds her of her grandmother, and some things matter more than efficiency. At home, Sophia is already asleep, her breathing slightly labored. Jasmine sits beside her bed watching her daughter's chest rise and fall. Each breath is a small miracle they can't afford to take for granted. She touches the silver locket around her neck, her grandmother's last gift. Inside, Sophia's photo nestles next to a tiny piece of paper with her grandmother's handwriting. "Character is who you are when everything depends on choosing wrong." Abuela had whispered those words during her final hospital stay when the doctors said there was nothing more they could do, when the insurance wouldn't cover experimental treatments, when choosing to spend their last savings on hope seemed foolish. Jasmine had chosen hope anyway. Now, staring at her sleeping daughter, she wonders if hope is enough. Her phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. "Your rent is 3 months overdue. Vacate by Friday or face legal action. Friday is in 2 days." Jasmine doesn't cry. She hasn't cried in 18 months, not since the day Sophia was diagnosed. Tears don't pay bills or buy medicine or keep them housed. Instead, she opens her laptop, an ancient machine that takes 5 minutes to boot up, and searches for second jobs. Night cleaning, weekend retail, anything that pays cash and doesn't ask questions about availability. Tomorrow, she'll work a double shift at Romano's. Thursday, she'll beg Tony for extra hours. Friday, she'll figure out Friday when it comes. But tonight, she reads Sophia one more story from their library book. Sophia's breathing evens out as they journey through magical lands where good people always win and kindness always pays off. "Do you think that's real, Mama? Do good people get happy endings?" Jasmine kisses her daughter's forehead, tasting the salt of exhaustion and determination. "I believe it is, baby." I have to believe it is. The phone call that afternoon would set in motion a murder plot that only one person could stop, and stopping it would sign her death warrant. David Harrison adjusts his tie in the back of his black sedan, reviewing testimony notes one final time. Tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., he'll walk into the federal courthouse and expose the largest financial fraud scheme in California history. $15 billion stolen from pension funds. Thousands of families were destroyed, and 3 powerful men who will spend life in prison once David speaks those crucial words under oath. His phone buzzes with a text from his lawyer. "Final prep session at 7 a.m. This testimony changes everything." David Harrison has no idea how right that message is, or how close he is to never making it to court. At Romano's Steakhouse, the lunch shift ends and dinner prep begins. Jasmine wipes down her last table, calculating tips in her head. $43. Not enough for Sophia's inhaler refill, but enough to buy groceries for 3 days. "We've got a new guy starting today," Manager Tony announces. "Miguel Santos, kitchen assistant. Be nice to him." The man who walks through the back door doesn't look like kitchen staff. His hands are too soft, his movements too careful. But Jasmine's been working in restaurants for 5 years. She's seen all types. "Welcome to Romano's," she says with a genuine smile. "I'm Jasmine. If you need anything, just ask." Miguel nods curtly, avoiding eye contact. Something feels off, but Jasmine dismisses the feeling. She has enough problems without inventing new ones. 20 minutes later, She's refilling water glasses when she hears Miguel's voice from the supply closet. He's speaking in hushed tones, back turned to the dining room. Yes, he comes every Tuesday. Same table, same order. Ribeye, medium rare. I start tonight. Jasmine freezes. The conversation feels wrong, dangerous. Make it look natural, Miguel continues. Heart attack, no traces, payment after it's done. The water pitcher slips from Jasmine's hands. It crashes to the floor, water spreading across the tiles. Every head in the restaurant turns toward the sound. Miguel spins around, phone pressed to his ear. For a split second, their eyes meet. His expression is cold, calculating, not the look of a kitchen assistant worried about a clumsy server. Sorry, Jasmine stammers, grabbing towels. I'm so clumsy today. But her hands shake as she cleans up the mess. Heart attack, no traces, payment after it's done. Someone is going to die tonight. The dinner rush begins at 6 p.m. Jasmine serves tables on autopilot, her mind racing. She should call the police, but with what evidence? An overheard phone conversation that could mean anything? She watches Miguel in the kitchen. He volunteers for prep work, specifically asking to handle seasonings and garnishes. Red flags wave in her mind, but she's just a server. Who would believe her? At 7:15, David Harrison walks through Romano's front door. Jasmine recognizes him immediately. Table 7, every Tuesday for 6 months. Always polite, always tips well, always orders the same thing. He treats her like a human being, not an inconvenience. Tonight, he looks tired, stressed. He checks his phone constantly, types quick messages, speaks in low tones to someone on the other end. Jasmine catches fragments of his conversation as she passes. Tomorrow's testimony, 15 billion, they'll all go to prison. Justice finally. The pieces click into place with terrifying clarity. David Harrison is about to expose criminals. Miguel is here to stop him. Tonight's dinner isn't just another meal. It's an execution disguised as heart failure. Her phone buzzes with a text from Sophia's babysitter. Sophia's breathing got bad. Used the emergency inhaler. She's okay now, but scared. When will you be home? The emergency inhaler. The last one. The one that cost $89 they didn't have. Jasmine stares at the message, then at David Harrison ordering his usual ribeye, then at Miguel volunteering to prepare it personally. This man, this stranger who tips her 20% and says please and thank you, is about to die, and she's the only person in the world who knows it. Warning him means exposing the assassination plot, which means becoming a target herself, which means Sophia loses her mother and ends up in foster care, gasping for breath with no one to afford her medicine. Staying silent means watching an innocent man get murdered. It means justice dies with him. It means the criminals who stole billions keep destroying families like hers. In the kitchen, Miguel carefully measures spices for the ribeye. His movements are precise, practiced. He glances toward the dining room, making sure no one is watching. Then he reaches into his pocket and removes a small vial of clear liquid. Jasmine's breath catches in her throat. She touches her grandmother's locket through her uniform. Character is who you are when everything depends on choosing wrong. David Harrison sits at table 7, trusting and unsuspecting, scrolling through testimony notes that will never be delivered if Miguel succeeds. Sophia needs her mother alive and working, but this man needs to live through the night. In 10 minutes, that poisoned ribeye will be ready to serve. Jasmine has 10 minutes to decide who lives and who dies. The choice should be obvious. Save yourself. Save your daughter. Stay silent. But as she watches David Harrison smile warmly when she refills his water glass, Jasmine knows there's only one choice she can live with, even if it kills her. In the next 60 seconds, Jasmine would choose between her daughter's life and a stranger's, and somehow save both. The kitchen bell rings. Order up! Ribeye for table 7. Miguel slides the plate across the pass. The steak looks perfect. Medium rare, properly seared, garnished with fresh herbs. No one would suspect the colorless death mixed into the seasoning. Jasmine's hands tremble as she approaches the plate. This is it, the moment that defines who she is. She could grab any other server's plate, claim she's too busy, let someone else deliver the poison, walk away clean. Instead, she picks up the ribeye. Her grandmother's locket feels heavy against her chest. Character is who you are when everything depends on choosing wrong. Jasmine walks toward table 7. David Harrison looks up from his phone with that familiar, genuine smile. Good evening, Jasmine. How's your daughter doing? He remembers Sophia. He remembers asking about her asthma last week. This man cares about a server's sick child, and someone wants him dead for seeking justice. She's struggling tonight, Jasmine says, setting the plate down. Her voice sounds far away. I'm sorry to hear that. Asthma is scary for parents. He reaches for his fork. Time slows. Jasmine sees Sophia's face, gasping for breath, sees the eviction notice, sees Miguel watching from the kitchen pass, waiting for his target to take that first fatal bite. Don't. The word escapes before she can stop it. David Harrison pauses, fork halfway to his mouth. I'm sorry? Jasmine's heart pounds so hard she's certain the entire restaurant can hear it. Miguel's eyes narrow from across the room. There's no going back now. Don't eat it, she whispers, leaning closer. Please. Someone put something in your food. David Harrison's expression shifts from confusion to alarm. He studies her face, searching for deception. Instead, he sees terror, desperation, truth. Are you certain? His voice is barely audible. Yes. I heard him on the phone. They want to kill you before tomorrow. He knows exactly what tomorrow means. The testimony, the billions in stolen money, the powerful men who would do anything to silence him. David Harrison sets down his fork without hesitation. Thank you. You need to leave, Jasmine urges. Now, before they realize. Miss Rodriguez? Miguel's voice cuts through the dining room chatter. He's walking toward their table, kitchen towel in his hands, eyes cold and dangerous. Is everything all right with the gentleman's order? Jasmine's blood turns to ice. He heard them. He knows she ruined everything. Actually, David Harrison says smoothly, not missing a beat. I'm feeling a bit unwell. Stomach issues. Could I get some plain toast instead? And perhaps some ginger ale? Miguel's jaw tightens almost imperceptibly. Of course, sir. Right away. He takes the poisoned plate back to the kitchen. Jasmine watches him go, knowing her life just became forfeit. Are you going to be safe? David Harrison asks quietly. Jasmine forces a professional smile. I'll be fine. You should go. But they both know she won't be fine. Miguel disappears into the kitchen, then slips out the back exit. Within minutes, he'll report the failed assassination. By morning, Jasmine Rodriguez will be a liability that needs eliminating. David Harrison stands, dropping 320s on the table. What's your full name? Jasmine Rodriguez, but please, you need to... Jasmine Rodriguez, he repeats, memorizing it. You just saved my life. Anyone would have done the same thing. No, he says firmly. They wouldn't have. Most people would have stayed silent to protect themselves. He pulls out his phone, fingers flying across the keyboard. I'm texting my security team your name and address. They'll watch your building tonight. You don't have to... Yes, I do. His eyes are intense, grateful. You risked everything for someone you barely know. That kind of courage deserves protection. Manager Tony approaches, sensing tension. Is everything all right here? Perfect. David Harrison says. Just a small change to my order. Miss Rodriguez has been exceptionally helpful. Tony nods nervously. Wonderful. Jasmine, table 12, needs water. David Harrison catches Jasmine's eye one more time. Thank you, he mouths silently. She nods, touching her locket briefly. Her grandmother would be proud. As David Harrison walks toward the exit, he stops at the hostess stand and speaks quietly to the manager. Money changes hands. A lot of money. Jasmine serves table 12 on autopilot, her mind racing. What happens now? Miguel's employers know their plan failed. They know she's the reason why. How long before they come for her? Her phone buzzes. Sophia's babysitter. Emergency room. Now. Sophia can't breathe. The world tilts sideways. Jasmine rips off her apron and grabs her purse. Tony, I have to go. Sophia's having an attack. Your shift doesn't end until... My daughter is dying. The words tear from her throat, raw and desperate. Tony sees her terror and steps back. Go. Just go. Jasmine runs through Romano's parking lot toward her ancient Honda. The engine turns over on the third try. She speeds toward Oakland General Hospital, hands shaking on the steering wheel. At every red light, she expects to see Miguel's face in her rearview mirror. At every turn, she wonders if these are her last minutes of life, but all she can think about is Sophia. The emergency room is fluorescent chaos. Jasmine finds her daughter in bed 3, an oxygen mask covering her small face, eyes wide with fear. Mama! Sophia's voice is muffled but desperate. I'm here, baby. Mama's here. Jasmine holds her daughter's hand, fighting back tears. You're going to be okay. The doctor approaches with a clipboard and bad news. She needs to stay overnight for observation. The attack was severe, and we'll need to discuss increasing her daily medication dosage. More money they don't have, but Jasmine nods anyway. Whatever she needs. As Sophia drifts off to sleep, Jasmine sits in the uncomfortable hospital chair and finally lets herself think about what happened tonight. She saved a man's life. A complete stranger who showed her basic human kindness. She also signed her own death warrant. But watching Sophia breathe steadily with proper medical care, Jasmine knows she made the right choice. If these are her last hours, at least she'll spend them knowing she chose courage over cowardice. Her phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. This is David Harrison's assistant. Mr. Harrison wanted me to inform you that your hospital bills tonight have been taken care of. He also asked me to tell him that good people shouldn't have to choose between doing right and surviving. He'll be in touch tomorrow. Jasmine reads the message 3 times before it sinks in. The man she saved is already saving her back. Maybe her grandmother was right. Maybe good people do get their happy endings. But first, they have to survive the night. Her refusal of his money would prove she was exactly the kind of person worth investing in. The next morning, David Harrison walks into Sophia's hospital room carrying an envelope. I hope you don't mind the intrusion, he says gently. I wanted to check on both of you. Sophia stares at the well-dressed stranger with curious eyes. Are you Mama's friend? I hope so, David says, smiling. Your Mama helped me very much yesterday. I spoke with the doctor, he tells Jasmine. Sophia's treatment last night was extensive. Jasmine's stomach clenches. The bill. Easily $3,000 they don't have. David Harrison hands her the envelope. I took care of everything. The hospital bill, the new medication, follow-up appointments. Jasmine stares at the envelope. I can't accept that. You saved my life. This is the least I can do. No. The word comes out firm. I can't take money for doing what's right. David Harrison looks genuinely surprised. You're refusing? Anyone would have warned you. It's basic human decency. Jasmine, you risked your life to save a complete stranger. That's extraordinary courage, not basic decency. Sophia tugs on her sleeve. Mama, what happened? David Harrison kneels down to Sophia's level. Your mama is a hero. She helped someone who really needed it. Sophia beams with pride. Mama always helps people. She helped Mrs. Lane last week. David Harrison's eyes meet Jasmine's over Sophia's head. There's understanding in his expression now, recognition. Please, he tries again, let me help with the medical bills. It's gratitude, not charity. Mr. Harrison, Jasmine says carefully, if I take money for basic human kindness, what kind of person does that make me? What example does that set for Sophia? She gestures toward her daughter. I want her to know that doing right isn't about getting paid. It's about being able to sleep at night. David Harrison studies her face. You really mean that? I do. Even though you're facing eviction? Even though you can barely afford Sophia's medication? Jasmine's cheeks burn. He knows about their struggles. Especially because of that, she says quietly. Sophia needs to see that integrity isn't for sale, no matter how desperate we get. David Harrison nods slowly. Your grandmother raised you well. How do you... Jasmine touches her locket instinctively. You touched that necklace when making difficult decisions last night. It grounds you, reminds you of something important. He's more observant than she realized. She used to say that character is tested when everything depends on choosing wrong, Jasmine admits. She sounds wise. David Harrison pulls out a business card and places it on Sophia's tray. I respect your decision about the money, but I want you to have this. Jasmine reads it. Harrison Foundation, building tomorrow's leaders through character recognition. We identify people who demonstrate exceptional moral courage, he explains. People like you. I'm just a server, Mr. Harrison. You're exactly who we're looking for. He heads toward the door, then pauses. Think about it, Jasmine. Some opportunities aren't about money. They're about potential. After he leaves, Sophia asks, Mama, what's a foundation? Jasmine stares at the business card. I think it's a place that helps good people do good things, baby. That evening, back home, Jasmine helps Sophia with her breathing exercises. The little girl is tired but stable. The new medication is working. Mama, are we in trouble because you helped that man? Jasmine smooths Sophia's hair. No, princess. We're never in trouble for helping people. But you look worried. Jasmine forces a smile. Just thinking about grown-up things. You focus on getting better. After Sophia falls asleep, Jasmine researches the Harrison Foundation online. What she finds makes her heart race. The foundation specifically seeks individuals who demonstrate moral courage under extreme personal risk. Their mission statement emphasizes character over convenience and integrity in impossible circumstances. Recent news articles mention a major Oakland community investment initiative, scholarship programs for deserving families, support systems for single parents, everything she desperately needs. But there's something else. Something that makes her hands tremble as she reads. The Foundation's latest press release mentions a recent incident that perfectly exemplifies our mission when someone risks everything to protect others. They're talking about her. David Harrison didn't just randomly choose to help her. He's been watching, evaluating, considering her for something much bigger than a hospital bill. Jasmine closes her laptop and stares at the business card. Tomorrow, she'll make a call that changes everything. The business card would unlock the mystery of how gratitude becomes a life-changing opportunity. Jasmine can't sleep. At 2 a.m., she's researching the Harrison Foundation online. What she discovers makes her pulse quicken. The mission statement reads like her exact story. We identify individuals who demonstrate moral courage when personal survival depends on choosing silence. These everyday heroes become tomorrow's community leaders. A recent blog post catches her attention. Character Under Fire: Why We Invest in People Who Risk Everything for Strangers. The selection criteria describes single parents facing impossible choices. People who choose integrity despite catastrophic consequences. Individuals whose moral courage goes unrecognized. It's her life perfectly described. Her phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. This is David Harrison's assistant. Mr. Harrison would like to schedule a conversation at your convenience. A conversation about what? The foundation? Her future? The next morning, Sophia asks the haunting question, "Mama, are we going to lose our house?" The eviction notice still sits on their counter. 24 hours left. But Jasmine forces calm. "We'll figure it out, Princess." At Romano's, manager Tony pulls her aside nervously. "Corporate called about Tuesday night. Something about a customer complaint and police involvement?" "It wasn't a complaint," Jasmine explains carefully. "Mr. Harrison was satisfied with his service." "Then why did the police want security footage? And why did Harrison's people call asking about your employment history?" "Harrison's people have been investigating her background." "How deep did they dig?" During lunch break, she calls the number. A professional voice answers, "Harrison Foundation, this is Rebecca." "Hi, this is Jasmine Rodriguez. I received a message about scheduling a conversation." "Of course! Mr. Harrison has been hoping to hear from you." "Are you available tomorrow afternoon? He'd like to discuss opportunities that might interest you." Opportunities. The word sends hope and fear through her. What kind of opportunities? "I think Mr. Harrison should explain personally. Shall we say 2 p.m. at our Oakland office?" After hanging up, Jasmine researches the foundation's address. It's in the business district, a gleaming building that costs more to maintain than she makes in years. What could a billionaire want with a struggling server? That evening, she finds a news article. Tech CEO's testimony leads to arrests in billion-dollar fraud case. David Harrison followed through. His testimony sent 3 powerful men to federal prison. The assassination plot she thwarted had real stakes, but one line makes her hands tremble. Harrison credited an anonymous individual with ensuring his safety, calling them exactly the kind of person our foundation seeks to support. He's talking about her. Tomorrow's conversation isn't just about gratitude. It's about her future. The phone call would reveal that saving a stranger's life had earned her the most grateful benefactor imaginable. Jasmine arrives at the Harrison Foundation building 15 minutes early, clutching Sophia's hand. The gleaming lobby makes her feel small and out of place, but she needs Sophia to see this, whatever this turns out to be. The receptionist smiles warmly. "Miss Rodriguez, Mr. Harrison is ready for you." They're escorted to a corner office with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Oakland. David Harrison stands behind his desk, but his attention immediately goes to Sophia. "You must be Sophia. I've heard wonderful things about you." Sophia hides behind Jasmine's leg, suddenly shy. "Thank you for seeing us," Jasmine begins formally. "Please, sit." David Harrison gestures to comfortable chairs. "Would Sophia like some juice?" "We have apple." As Sophia sips her juice, David Harrison turns to Jasmine with an expression she can't quite read. "I want to start by telling you something important. What happened Tuesday night wasn't just brave, it was extraordinary." Jasmine shifts uncomfortably. "Anyone would have—" "No." His voice is firm. "Anyone wouldn't have. Most people would have stayed silent to protect themselves and their children. You chose differently." He walks to his window, looking out at the city. "I've been thinking about that choice for 3 days now. About what it means. About what kind of person makes that decision." "Mr. Harrison, I appreciate—" "Jasmine, I need you to understand something." He turns back to her. "I've been incredibly fortunate in life. Built a successful company, made more money than I could spend in 10 lifetimes. But success doesn't teach you about character. Wealth doesn't show you who people really are. Sophia looks up from her juice. Are you really rich? David Harrison laughs. I suppose I am. But your mama is richer than me in the ways that matter. He sits down across from them, leaning forward. Tuesday night, you didn't just save my life. You reminded me why I started this foundation in the first place. I don't understand. 3 years ago, I established the Harrison Foundation with a simple mission: find people who demonstrate extraordinary moral courage in impossible circumstances. People who choose integrity when everything depends on choosing otherwise. Jasmine's heart starts beating faster. I've donated millions to scholarship programs, community initiatives, and leadership development. But I've always struggled with one question. How do you identify true character? How do you know who deserves support? He pulls out a folder from his desk. Most foundations rely on applications, recommendations, and academic achievements. But character isn't something you can measure on paper. It's revealed in moments of crisis when no one important is watching, when doing right might cost you everything. Jasmine realizes where this is going. Her mouth goes dry. After Tuesday night, I had my team look into your background. Not to invade your privacy, but to understand who you are. He opens the folder and reads, Jasmine Rodriguez, 28, single mother. Works 16-hour days between 2 jobs to afford her daughter's medical expenses. Has been quietly helping elderly neighbors with groceries for 2 years. Volunteers at Sophia's school despite having no free time. Has never missed a rent payment until this year, when Sophia's medical costs increased. Her cheeks burn. Her entire life was reduced to a file. Your coworkers describe you as the kindest person they know. Your landlord says you're the most reliable tenant he's had, and he's genuinely sorry about the eviction. Sophia's teachers say you're the most involved parent in the school, always advocating for other children, too. David Harrison closes the folder and looks directly at her. But here's what impressed me most. In 3 years of running background checks on potential foundation candidates, I've never seen anything like this. He pulls out another document. Every person we interviewed about you, coworkers, neighbors, Sophia's teachers, even customers at Romano's mentioned the same thing. You help people without being asked. You treat everyone with dignity regardless of how they treat you. You choose kindness even when it costs you time, energy, or money you don't have. Jasmine feels overwhelmed. I just try to do what's right. Exactly. That's what makes you extraordinary. He stands up and walks to a wall covered with photographs. People of all ages receiving awards, shaking hands, smiling proudly. These are our character scholars. Teachers who spend their own money on student supplies. Nurses who work extra shifts for free. Single parents who foster other children despite their own struggles. People who prove that moral courage exists in everyday choices. Sophia tugs on Jasmine's sleeve. Mama, what's moral courage? Before Jasmine can answer, David Harrison kneels down to Sophia's level. Moral courage is what your mama showed Tuesday night. She saw someone in danger and helped them, even though helping might have hurt both of you. That's what heroes do. Sophia nods solemnly. Mama is brave. She's the bravest person I've ever met. David Harrison returns to his desk and pulls out an official-looking document. Jasmine, I didn't ask you here just to thank you, though I can never thank you enough for saving my life. He slides the document across the desk. I asked you here to offer you something, a partnership. Jasmine stares at the papers without reading them. I don't understand. You didn't just prove your character Tuesday night. You showed me exactly the kind of person I've been searching for to help run this foundation. The room feels like it's spinning. I'm offering you a full scholarship to complete your bachelor's degree in social work or business administration, whichever you prefer, plus a monthly stipend that covers your living expenses, Sophia's medical costs, and safe housing. Jasmine's hands start shaking. But that's not all. Upon graduation, I want to offer you a permanent position as Community Outreach Director. You'll help identify and support other families facing the same impossible choices you've faced. She stares at him, unable to speak. Your job will be to find everyday heroes and give them the support they need to transform not just their own lives, but their communities. Sophia whispers, "Mama, are you crying?" Jasmine touches her face, surprised to find tears. This isn't charity, Jasmine. This is recognition. You've already proven your character under the ultimate test. I'm just providing resources to match your integrity with opportunity. The offer was Harrison's way of saying thank you for the ultimate gift, his life. Jasmine stares at the papers through tears, trying to process words that seem too good to be true. I can't. She struggles to form complete sentences. David Harrison sits back down, his voice gentle. Take your time. I know it's overwhelming. Sophia looks between them with wide eyes. Mama, why are you sad? I'm not sad, baby. Jasmine touches her grandmother's locket. I'm shocked. Let me explain everything clearly, David Harrison says. The scholarship covers full tuition for a 4-year degree at UC Berkeley or San Francisco State, whichever you prefer. Evening and weekend classes, designed for working parents. He points to specific sections of the document. The monthly stipend is $6,000, enough to cover your rent, groceries, Sophia's medical expenses, and childcare during classes. $6,000 a month, more than triple her current income. The housing assistance includes moving costs and security deposit for a 2-bedroom apartment in a safe neighborhood with good schools. Jasmine's hands tremble. Mr. Harrison, this is too much. It's not enough, he says firmly. You risked your life to save mine. How do you put a price on that? Sophia tugs on her mother's sleeve. Does this mean we don't have to move? It means a lot more than that, Princess, David Harrison says. It means your mama can go to school and learn new things while taking care of you. But I have conditions, he continues, looking serious. Jasmine's heart sinks. Of course there are conditions. First, you maintain the same character you've already shown. Treat people with dignity, help when you can. Always choose integrity. That's not a condition, that's who she is. Second, you complete your degree. No dropping out when things get tough. And third, after graduation, you consider working with the foundation to help other families in situations like yours. Jasmine looks up. Consider? This isn't indentured servitude. If you graduate and want to do something else, that's your choice. But I hope you'll want to pay it forward. She reads through the paperwork more carefully. Community Outreach Director. What does that mean exactly? You'd identify deserving families and individuals in Oakland and surrounding areas, people facing impossible choices who demonstrate moral courage. Single parents, teachers, healthcare workers, service industry employees, anyone whose character shines despite their circumstances. How would I find them? David Harrison smiles. The same way I found you. By paying attention. By noticing who helps elderly customers to their cars, who shares their lunch with coworkers who forgot theirs, who chooses kindness when no one important is watching. The scope starts to sink in. You want me to help create more stories like mine? Exactly. The Character Scholar program has the potential to transform entire communities, but it needs someone who understands what real hardship looks like. Someone who's faced these impossible choices and made the right decision anyway. Sophia has been listening intently. Mama, would you be like a teacher? Sort of, baby. I'd help other mamas and dadas who need help. Like how you helped the man at your work? Just like that. David Harrison leans forward. There's something else. We're launching a national expansion of the Character Scholar program. If you prove yourself in Oakland, you could eventually oversee programs in multiple cities. The possibilities feel endless and terrifying. I need to ask, Jasmine says carefully, why me? Surely there are other people who've shown moral courage. There are. But most of them don't have your combination of integrity, intelligence, and life experience. You understand poverty from the inside. You know what it means to choose between rent and medicine. You've maintained your values despite every incentive to compromise them. He pulls out his phone and shows her a news article. Yesterday's testimony sent 3 men to federal prison. Thousands of families will get their stolen pension money back because you warned me about that poison. I had no idea the stakes were that high. Which makes what you did even more remarkable. You saved a stranger's life simply because it was the right thing to do. Sophia yawns and curls up in her chair. The excitement and big words are wearing her out. What happens next? Jasmine asks. If you accept, we start immediately. Your rent is paid through next year as of this morning. Sophia's medical expenses are covered permanently. You meet with academic advisors next week to plan your course schedule. And if I don't accept? David Harrison's expression grows serious. Then you go back to Romano's, face eviction tomorrow, and continue struggling to afford Sophia's medication. I respect your choice either way. Jasmine looks at her sleeping daughter. Sophia deserves better than 17-hour days away from her mother. She deserves a home where medicine isn't rationed and electricity isn't threatened. But more than that, Sophia deserves a mother who shows her that integrity and hard work can create opportunities. I have one question. Anything. The other character scholars, do they succeed? Do they actually graduate and build better lives? David Harrison's smile is answer enough. 97% graduation rate. Average income increase of 340% within 5 years. But more importantly, they become community leaders who lift up others. Jasmine touches her locket one more time, feeling her grandmother's presence. Character is who you are when everything depends on choosing wrong. 3 days ago, she chose to save a stranger's life despite the risk. Today, she chooses to save her own future, despite the fear. Where do I sign? David Harrison hands her a pen. Welcome to the Harrison Foundation family, Jasmine. As she signs the papers that will change everything, Sophia stirs in her chair. Mama? Are we going to be okay? Jasmine kisses her daughter's forehead, tasting salt and hope. We're going to be better than okay, baby. We're going to be extraordinary. 2 years later, one act of courage had created a ripple effect, transforming an entire community. Jasmine Rodriguez straightens her blazer as she walks across UC Berkeley's campus, Sophia skipping beside her. It's graduation day, and the woman who once counted pills and dollars now holds a bachelor's degree in social work with highest honors. Mama, you look beautiful, Sophia says, adjusting her own small cap and gown. At 8 years old, she insisted on dressing up for her mother's big day. The transformation has been remarkable. Sophia breathes easily now, her asthma completely controlled with proper medication and a clean living environment. Their Oakland apartment has been replaced by a 3-bedroom house in a neighborhood with tree-lined streets and excellent schools. But the real change runs deeper than housing and healthcare. In the graduation ceremony audience, David Harrison applauds as Jasmine's name is called. Beside him sit 12 other character scholars, teachers, nurses, retail workers, and service employees whose lives were transformed through the program Jasmine helped design and implement. Jasmine Rodriguez, Bachelor of Social Work, summa cum laude, the announcer declares, recipient of the Harrison Foundation's Community Leadership Excellence Award. As she accepts her diploma, Jasmine spots faces in the crowd that tell the real story of these 2 years. Mrs. Lane, the elderly customer from Romano's, beams with pride. Jasmine had identified her son Marcus as a character scholar candidate after watching him work 3 jobs to support his mother while attending community college. Marcus graduated last month and now manages a non-profit youth center. Tony, her former manager at Romano's, gives her a thumbs up. The restaurant partnered with the Harrison Foundation to create culinary training programs for underemployed adults. Tony discovered he had a talent for mentoring and now runs their job placement initiative. Even Miguel's replacement, the real kitchen assistant who took over after Miguel disappeared, waves from the crowd. The Harrison Foundation's restaurant partnership program helped him open his own food truck, serving healthy meals in underserved neighborhoods. After graduation, the celebration moves to the Harrison Foundation's new Oakland headquarters. The building buzzes with activity scholarship recipients attending classes, community members accessing free financial planning services, children participating in after-school programs, while their parents complete job training. 2 years ago, this was just an idea, David Harrison tells the gathered crowd. Today, the Oakland Character Scholar Program has identified and supported 93 individuals and families. The statistics are impressive, but the human stories matter more. Rosa, a hotel housekeeper, received a scholarship after Jasmine witnessed her secretly leaving extra towels and snacks for a family with small children. Rosa graduated with a business degree and now owns a cleaning service that employs other Character Scholar alumni. James, a grocery store clerk, earned support after Jasmine saw him helping elderly customers shop and carry groceries without being asked. He completed paramedic training and works for Oakland Emergency Services while volunteering at community health fairs. The ripple effects continue expanding. Character scholars identify new candidates, creating a self-sustaining network of community support. Oakland's high school graduation rate has increased 18%. Small business creation is up 32%. Community volunteer participation has doubled. The national media has taken notice. 60 Minutes featured Jasmine's story in a segment called The Waitress Who Changed Everything. Harvard Business School teaches a case study based on the Character Scholar model. 12 other cities have implemented similar programs. But Jasmine's proudest moment comes during a quiet evening at home. Sophia, now a confident third grader, helps prepare dinner while describing her school day. "We had a new student today and some kids were being mean about his shoes," Sophia explains, stirring pasta sauce. "So I sat with him at lunch and invited him to play with my friends." "That was very kind of you. You always say to help people who need help, even when other kids might not understand." The lesson has taken root. Sophia embodies the same values that drove Jasmine to warn a stranger about poison, even at tremendous personal risk. That weekend, they visit Jasmine's grandmother's grave. The headstone is surrounded by fresh flowers gifts from Character Scholar families who've heard stories about the woman whose wisdom guides the Foundation's mission. "Abuela, your little girl is helping a lot of people now," Jasmine whispers. "Character really is who you are when everything depends on choosing wrong." Sophia places her own small bouquet on the grave. "Tell her about the restaurant, Mama." Romano's Steakhouse has become an unofficial recruiting ground for Character Scholar candidates. The Foundation's partnership program transformed the workplace culture. Servers now earn living wages, receive healthcare benefits, and have access to educational opportunities. The restaurant displays a small plaque near the entrance. "In recognition of moral courage that changed our community, character matters here." Monday morning, Jasmine arrives at her office as the Harrison Foundation's Director of Community Outreach. Her desk overflows with nominations, teachers who spend personal money on supplies, healthcare workers who comfort patients without being asked, neighbors who shovel snow for elderly residents. Each story represents potential. Each person could be the next thread in a web of community transformation that started with 3 simple words: don't eat it. The work continues. 3 years later, Jasmine would recognize another moment where character matters more than safety. The upscale restaurant in downtown San Francisco bustles with evening energy. Jasmine Rodriguez, now regional director of the Harrison Foundation's West Coast operations, sits across from Sophia at a corner table. They're celebrating Sophia's acceptance into Oakland Preparatory Academy's gifted program. "I'm proud of you, Princess," Jasmine says, watching her 11-year-old daughter confidently order her meal. Sophia has grown into a poised, compassionate young woman who volunteers at foundation events and advocates for classmates facing difficulties. Their server approaches, a young Latino man, maybe 25, with kind eyes and careful movements. His name tag reads, Carlos. "Can I start you with drinks?" he asks politely. As the evening progresses, Jasmine notices something that makes her heart skip. At the table beside them, an elderly woman's credit card is declined. She counts crumpled bills in her purse, coming up short for her modest meal. Carlos glances around quickly, then quietly reaches into his pocket. He pulls out two $20 bills, clearly his tip money, and discreetly slips them to the cashier to cover the woman's bill. The elderly woman never knows. Carlos doesn't want recognition or gratitude. He just sees someone in need and helps, despite clearly struggling financially himself. Jasmine recognizes the signs. His shoes are worn but polished. His uniform is clean but frayed at the edges. He moves with the efficiency of someone working multiple jobs. More importantly, she recognizes the character. After Carlos brings their dessert, Jasmine asks casually, "How long have you been working here?" "6 months," he says, then adds with pride, "I'm also taking community college classes and working at a grocery store on weekends. Saving money to bring my little sister from Guatemala." That sounds challenging. It is, but worth it. My sister deserves opportunities I didn't have. The conversation confirms what Jasmine already knows. Carlos embodies exactly what the Character Scholar program seeks: moral courage combined with determination to create better circumstances for others. As they prepare to leave, Jasmine approaches Carlos with a familiar business card. "I think you might be interested in learning about educational opportunities for people like you," she says warmly. Carlos studies the card. Harrison Foundation, transforming communities through character recognition. What kind of opportunities? The kind that helps good people achieve their dreams while making their communities stronger. Are you interested in hearing more? His eyes widen with possibility. "Yes, ma'am." Sophia watches this exchange with understanding beyond her years. She's witnessed dozens of these moments, her mother identifying everyday heroes and offering them pathways to transformation. Walking to their car, Sophia asks, "How did you know he was special?" "The same way someone once recognized something special in me," Jasmine replies, touching her grandmother's locket. "He chose kindness when no one important was watching. That's how it always starts. The tradition continues. Character creates opportunity, which creates more character, which transforms entire communities. Just like grandmother always said, some things never change, and some things change everything. Your next act of everyday courage might be the one that changes everything for you and for someone who desperately needs your integrity." Jasmine's story proves that heroism isn't about grand gestures or perfect circumstances. It's about choosing right when everything inside you screams to choose wrong. When helping someone could cost you everything, but letting them suffer costs you your soul. Maybe you're facing your own impossible choice right now. Maybe you're the server who notices something wrong, the witness who could speak up, or the person who could help when no one else will. Remember, doing right rarely feels safe in the moment, but it always creates possibilities you never imagined. Your character test is coming. When it arrives, will you choose courage? Share this story if you believe good people deserve recognition, like if you've ever risked something to help a stranger. Subscribe for more stories proving that integrity, when met with genuine gratitude, transforms not just individual lives but entire communities. What would you have done in Jasmine's situation? Tell us in the comments below.